whatever it takes to prevent gun violence.
Also, we got an inside peek into the new Yakutichu housing community.
And later, find out the results of Theta Chi's dance competition, Sorority's Best Dance Crew.
Broadcasting from Swanson Studios, you're watching Mustang News.
Hello, and welcome to the latest edition of Mustang News. Today is Monday, February 26th. I'm Michelle Chatfield.
And I'm Emma Withrow. Here are your top stories for this week.
After a gun threat last week that had students worried to come to school, Cal Poly is putting together protocols to be mentally and physically prepared. Emily Fagenstrom has the update.
18 school shootings in 2018 so far. Cal Poly is doubling down to make sure the campus is prepared. UPD Chief George Hughes ensures Cal Poly's safety through a step-by-step process of handling gun violence.
Going to, as quickly as possible, be notifying the campus and give them instructions on what to do. You're probably very aware of our PolyAlert system, which is our mass communication system on how we are going to get information to people through text, through telephone calls, and also through emails if there's a critical incident facing this campus.
The CSU police departments train with all jurisdictions across the county to ensure response teams are reacting in the most effective ways.
We'll give you instructions on exactly what to do, and that would follow the run, hide, fight protocols that we have here on campus. So the instructions will be either there's an active shooter in this area. If you're in the area, leave. Get away if you can. If you're not, we'll be telling people to shelter in place and make plans to stay there until we can get to them.
The CSU system has released a new Run, Hide, Fight video that gives advice on what to do when faced with an active shooter situation. Jordan Lee says how looking at the overall view of the problem is vital for a safe campus.
We need to look at gun violence as a whole and see what we can do to prevent it from happening in the future, and to look at it in a bigger picture instead of just seeing it from your own perspective, but putting yourselves in the shoes of people that might have to deal with gun violence every day.
A student-led march will be held on March 14th, promoted by the Women's March San Luis Obispo, to demand change in preventing gun violence. Emily Fagenstrom, Mustang News.
For more information, go to Enough National School Walkout's Facebook page.
Over 1,400 incoming freshman students will have a brand new home to call in the dorms starting in fall 2018. Mustang News reporter Austin Linthicum has the story.
After nearly 2 years of construction, Cal Poly's much-anticipated Yakutichu Student Housing South is starting to take shape. Located near the Grand Avenue entrance to campus, this complex is made up of 7 buildings, a 4-story parking structure, and expansive open spaces.
One of the long goals for their president is to increase residency to include second years living on campus. As part of that, we needed to move our freshmen out of our apartment complexes, and so in that need, we said that we were going to build a new complex to house what at that point we had in our apartment complexes.
Costing a total of $198 million paid through university bond, the project has 696 rooms and an estimated 492 parking stalls. Inside, you will find immense open spaces, large kitchens, and community rooms on every floor. Students will either share their room with one roommate or 3 others in select 4-person rooms.
Build a lot of the community spaces where students can socialize and bring together ideas.
One thing you might be surprised by, co-ed bathrooms with individual changing areas. And, for the first time in Cal Poly dorms, elevators. Outside, the buildings will form a plaza with seating as well as volleyball and basketball courts. The complex is set to be LEED certified, the global standard in sustainable building.
One of the aspects that we're moving forward with is photovoltaic panels on all buildings and hopefully reaching a net zero on electricity for the complex.
The project is expected to be completed by mid-August, just in time for the incoming freshman class to move in. Austin Linthicum, Mustang News.
The 2018 Winter Olympics has come to a close last night. Now that another Olympic season has passed, Mustang News reporter Callan Hopman asked students what sports they hope to see in future Olympic Games.
Gaming. That should be Olympic status, yeah. Because, there's esports now, right? So, there are competitions, but it's not Olympic level.
Dance, ballet. I was ballerina once.
Yeah,
10 years.
Ballet.
I think golf is becoming an Olympic sport pretty soon, and that is kind of like a thing. Yeah, that should be an Olympic sport.
I really wish I could see underwater basket weaving because I think it's really progressing here in the United States and all over the world, and I think it'd be really cool, especially during winter, because they'd have to put on a wetsuit or dry suit, and you know, I think it'd be really cool to film with the underwater cinematography.
When we come back, I'll have your weather forecast. Don't go anywhere.
It's mostly good news, and a lot of the time, a lot of the other news we get isn't necessarily good news, and so I think that it's kind of a nice break from a lot of the other not so great things that might be happening around the community and on campus. I think that good journalism is objective and informative. It is as unbiased as possible, and I think that Mustang News does a really good job of that, reporting about the incidents on campus without necessarily putting a spin on them.
I manage a team of MMJs, multimedia journalists, who cover all news on campus, from administration to student life to any protests that happen on campus. We really just have our finger on the pulse of Cal Poly. Journalism is reporting on the facts at all times because we have to, regardless of whether or not people may disagree.
Good afternoon, Cal Poly. I'm Kayla Berenson here with your weather forecast. So for our 5-day forecast, we're going to see today a high of 57, a low of 36 with some showers, a high of 57 tomorrow, and a low of 35 with no rain. On Wednesday, we'll see a high of 60, a low of 45, also again, no rain. On Thursday, we are going to see a high of 56 and a low of 41 with some rain. And again, on Friday, we're going to see rain again with a high of 54 and a low of 39. On our beaches, we have a high of 53 and a low of 35 in Cayucos, a high of 53 and a low of 36 in Morro Bay, a high of 56, a low of 36 in Avila Beach, a high of 56, a low of 37 in Pismo, a high of 55 and a low of 36 in Oceano. So make sure that you will bring an umbrella with you and a blanket if you're planning on going surfing today. In South County, we have a high of 56 and a low of 37 in Arroyo Grande, a high of 58, a low of 34 in Napomo, a high of 56 and a low of 36 in Guadalupe, a high of 57 and a low of 35 in Santa Maria, a high of 54, a low of 33 in Orchid, and a high of 56 and a low of 36 in Vandenberg. In North County, we have a high of 53 and a low of 31 in Paso Robles, a high of 51 and a low of 30 in Creston, a high of 53 and a low of 31 in Atascadero, a high of 52 and 31 in Santa Margarita, and a high of 57 and 36 in San Luis Obispo. That's all I have for your weather today. Here's Emily with your sports update.
Thanks, Kayla. Hello, I'm Emily Fagenstrom with your sports update for today. The Cal Poly baseball team won 2 out of their 3 games this weekend in San Diego in the Tony Gwynn Memorial Classic. The team started things off with a bang Friday night, beating Arkansas, the number 4 team in the nation. True freshman Blake Wellingser was the game-winner runner, and junior Alex McKenna had the game-winning RBI. True freshman Andrew Alvarez was the winning pitcher in the 4-3 victory. The Mustangs won again on Sunday, defeating Michigan handily by the score of 8-1. Sophomore catcher Miles Emerson went for 4 and 4 juniors. Marston was outstanding defensively, stopping several hard-driven balls through the gap. True freshman pitcher Darren Nelson pitched a full 7 innings, recording 4 strikeouts. The Mustangs have their first home series this weekend when they will host the University of Pacific in the newly renovated Baggett Stadium. Sounds like a good game. In the last home game of the season, the Cal Poly's women's basketball team hosted Cal State Fullerton. Reporter Sawyer Milam has the highlights.
It was senior day for the Cal Poly women's basketball team as they hosted Cal State Fullerton on Saturday afternoon. Here in the first half, Shauna Bazzalo crosses over, pulls up, and knocks down the jumper. With this free throw by Lynn Leapepe in the third quarter, she became number 14 on the all-time Cal Poly scoring list. On the next Cal Poly possession, Barry Kaden shoots from way downtown. Buckets! Fullerton would make a comeback. In the fourth quarter, Jade Vega lays it up to make it a 1-point game. But with the Mustangs trailing 56-55, Lynn Leapepe drives down the lane and banks in the tough shot to give Cal Poly the lead. In the final minute of the game, Din Leapepe drives, pump fakes, and lays it in. as Cal Poly held on to win by a final score of 63-56 and moved into second place in the Big West Conference standings. The 7 graduating seniors for Cal Poly combined to score 45 of the team's 63 total points in their last game at Maude Athletic Center.
Being part of Cal Poly is just something I could happily say that I'm blessed to be a part of, and for sure I'm going to miss it when the time comes.
Sawyer Milam, Mustang News.
And that's all the sports action we have for this week. We'll be back after the break.
Is something that doesn't go appreciated that much, especially at a polytechnic campus. We have a lot of engineering and architecture focus, and we want to try to focus a lot of our arts writing on structural design and architecture design and things that relate to Cal Poly, but through the arts. I think good journalism comes from unbiased reporting, and I think we do a really good job at making sure that everything's accurate.
In this day and age, everybody gets their news from social media, and my team's pretty much in charge of making sure that Mustang News has a great presence across all social media platforms. Whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat, we want to make sure that our news is reaching our audience. At Mustang News, we're truth tellers. We're student media, but we're going to do our best to tell the truth of our people and the voices of the Cal Poly campus.
One of the biggest Greek Life Philanthropy events, Sorority's Best Dance Crew, happened this weekend. 8 sororities competed for a sold-out audience in Chumash Auditorium last Thursday in the hopes of winning the first place title at Beta Chi's annual philanthropy event. In the end, Alpha Omicron Pi came in 3rd place, Alpha Chi Omega came in 2nd place, and Gamma Phi Beta came in 1st place. 2018 marks the 4th year in a row that Gamma Phi Beta has taken the first place victory at Sorority's Best Dance Crew.
With winter quarter in full gear, some Cal Poly students were greeted by furry companions last week. Ranging from large to petite, therapy dogs help students cuddle their stress away near the library last Thursday. Don't worry if you missed out on these lovable dogs, though, as they will be back on March 16th. One of the dog's handlers, Mutsumi Asono, explained some of the tests that these dogs go through to become therapy dogs.
Throwing the wheelchair near the dogs, or sprinkle some food in front of the animals and they don't react. Those kind of tests, as well as if the dog sees another animal, so other dogs, they don't react and they can be harmonious with it. That kind of test is involved.
That is all we have time for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle Chatfield.
And I'm Emma Withrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day.